to know, especially when we are working outside, when we are dealing with hot works. This is the most important, okay? That's why I hope that you will learn something about this training. You don't need to master about the subject. Just learn one of the subject and that's already enough, okay? But to totally forget everything that we were going to discuss today, this is something else, my friend. So the technique, one topic or one of the topics you will learn, this is already added to your knowledge. Again, knowledge is power, okay? So you just listen to the discussion. Whatever easy for you to learn or to put in your memory, then take it, my friend. You will bring this one in the future, in your work, okay? Again, anything that you learn, this is adding up to your value as a person. Because if you work outside and they ask you something about this, fortunately they ask you something that you know, this is already good for you as a worker or as a person. Those people who succeeded in life are those people who take value or who learn something and then share that learning, okay? And then also implement that learning in your workplace, okay? So today our objective in this training is actually to reduce the fire risk. If you understand about the fire and you implement this one, this will help the workplace. Because every one of us will be aware, this will cause fire. So you take preventive measure, you take the control measure, how to prevent this fire, how not to have this fire, this will make the workplace better. You understand? That's why fire is very important. When you work in Saudi Kayan, in Aramco, they are very, very particular about the fire. Okay? That's why this is something that we should not neglect. To ensure that the workers understand the risk. Because we know, this will cause fire. But do you know, guys, what will be the impact if there is a fire emergency situation in the workplace that you are working? Because of your negligence, for example, you are doing hot works, you did not provide fire extinguisher, you did not remove the combustible materials within your workplace, because you do not understand what is the fire, then what will happen? It will damage the property. It might cause death to one of the workers working in that place. You see the impact. So this is something you need to understand. Up to what extent or what will be the cost or what will be the consequence in case there is a fire emergency. Then you will take safety measures because now you understand. So if you understand and you will do it on site, that is stupidity. You know what is the definition of stupidity? You know the truth. This is you know the truth. You believe in truth, but you still do what? You still lie. You still lie. This is stupidity. I know this is the thing that I should do, but you are doing something other than the thing that you are supposed to do, the correct thing. This is called stupidity. Okay? And then to promote a safe workplace, and then also, guys, this is one way of giving the commitment of the company. Again, the company, see, we can just, for formality's sake, we can just take signature for this on the attendance, okay? Just for the compliance purposes, but we don't want to do that. We want to ensure that you understand the subject. Not fully understand, but you take something learning, okay, in this subject matter. And that's already enough, okay? So what is emergency procedure? Let us start defining the emergency procedure before we go through the subject. So what is emergency procedure? Because in case there is a fire, of course, there must, if we discuss the fire, we must also discuss the emergency procedure. Because this is like there's a connection between the emergency procedure and about the fire. So what is emergency procedure?
Must we know where have the master point, where have the air direction.
Yeah. Okay, so this,
this also contact number.
So this can be also they are part of the emergency procedure. Okay? So emergency procedure basically, this is a planning. This is an action, a procedure that we must do in case of fire emergency or whatever emergency. Okay, we have a lot of emergency, not only fire. Fire is one of the emergency. We have what? Like the natural disaster, flood. Okay, this also like earthquake. This is also emergency. Okay, this all requires emergency procedure. So while we are establishing the emergency procedure, the importance of establishing the emergency procedure is to have a synchronized, so everyone will know where to go in case of emergency. Not I go to the assembly point, he drink coffee, he went out very far because he wants to be safe. But let us understand what is the importance why we need to go to the assembly point. Okay? That is why this is the company or every company must have the emergency procedure. Okay? So later on we will discuss through that. Okay? So why are we concerned? Why are we concerned about this? First, every employee could be faced an emergency situation. Again, guys, we are not only limiting ourselves here in our company. Okay? We are working all over the places. Okay? Outside Salama Engineering. And what if you faced one time a fire emergency in Saudi Kayan, for example, in Aramco, in Saudi German, or whatever, or wherever. Okay? What you will do? What you will do in case there is a fire emergency? Some will going to, this morning somebody says that I will go directly to the assembly point. Some says that I have to pull the mantle station. May be correct, may not be correct. Okay? Because the steps we need to follow. If you follow the procedure, in case there is a fire, you follow that procedure, then you are good to go. Okay? But to jump, I need immediately to pull the fire alarm station, then it may be correct, but it may cause inconvenience. If, for example, the fire you can extinguish directly, it's a small fire, why I need to pull the mantle station. Okay? So let us also discuss that one later. And then every employee needs to know how to get help during an emergency. Okay? Worker must have information, instruction. If as we go along in this training, you will have information. Okay? Instruction means we are going to instruct you what you need to do. Again, our aim for this training is synchronization. So everyone will have the same mindset. Not I have a different way of extinguishing the fire. He has a different way how to go to the assembly point. It's not that. That is why the company should establish a good emergency procedure so everyone would understand and synchronize. Okay? Uniform. And then this will include the procedure and what to do in an emergency. Now let us start. What is the composition of fire? What do you understand? So how this fire will going to start? There is a composition. We have the so-called fire triangle. So what is this fire triangle?
Ignition.
Huh?
Oxygen.
So what is the composition of the elements of a fire? For it to become a fire, there are 3 elements. So what are these? Huh?
Hot.
Heat. Okay, he said hot, that's heat. Okay, air, oxygen,
Fuel.
and fuel. So these 3 components or elements, these are the elements of a fire. Remove one of these, like fuel, even there is a heat, there is an oxygen, it will not start. What is the fuel? Let us say, for example, a paper. This is a fuel. Okay? The flammable liquid, this is a fuel. Okay? There is a flammable liquid, there is a heat, there is an oxygen, perfect. That will cause fire. Okay? So fuel is anything that, like a combustible item or flammable item. This is your fuel. Okay? And then the heat. And then the oxygen. You remove one of these, there's no oxygen. Oxygen, for it to become flammable, as per my research, is 19% of air. This will cause fire. 24%, this is already extreme. Okay? Extreme fire. Again, when you sometimes ignite something like a flammable liquid, it's too much time, it's not igniting. Why? Because it also differs on the flash point of a particular chemical. There are chemicals that the flash point is very high. Say for example, the cylinder. You see the cylinder, they said, the question, whether or not you can expose this one under the sun, you can store this one under the sun. Which one is correct? It may explode. They said this and that. You cannot put that one under the sun or whatever. But why sometimes we are working under the sun? Because the flash point of this cylinder, the acetylene, is very high. It's like 50 degrees Celsius. For it to heat up, and then this may cause, not it will, it may cause, meaning it may or may not explode. Okay? But again, to make it explosive, it has to reach that flash point, which is 50 degrees Celsius. Okay? That is just an example. Okay? So, again, this is the three component or element of a fire for it to start. If somebody will ask you, my friend, do you understand what is fire? How this fire will start? At least, only this matter you know at this training, that is already enough for you. Believe me. Because I'm not expecting you to master the whole training subject. But only this you put in mind, now today I know what is the composition. And I can remember this three because this, sometimes if you load too much knowledge in your brain at one time, this it goes easily. But you put one at a time, okay, to remember, this retain in your brain, believe me. So at least you know this composition of fire, that's already enough. Again, by the next training or toolbox, whatever, you add it up, this easily retaining in your mind. So what are the causes of fire? Now there are too much causes of fire. Okay, some is the faulty electrical. Okay, flammable and combustible materials. Human error. We discuss about human error. Okay, human error is negligence. You cannot say because the fire started because it was an accident. Now, those who attended my about investigation in legal aspect, they will conduct an investigation. They will prove whether or not there is a negligence. If there is a negligence, my friend, this cannot be considered as an accident. Accident is something you put all, you put all the safety measures. Despite of putting all the safety measures, accident happened. Okay? This is accident. But for example, I was doing the hot work and then I did not bring the fire extinguisher. There was a small fire. I cannot easily extinguish because I have to look for this fire extinguisher until this fire spread very fast, and that becomes negligence, my friend. Could have been but what is this? You bring the fire extinguisher, it could have extinguished that fire. But since you forgot to bring that fire extinguisher, which is the most essential item that you need to make sure when you are doing the hot work, I'm sorry, my friend, that is not considered accident. Because when you do hot work, you already understand that there is a fire. There could be a fire. And why you did not bring this fire extinguisher? Why you did not remove the combustible materials? So, do you think that is what is accident? Oh, come on. You can tell that one to the company. But the one who suffered the damage to their property, they will not accept. They will find a solution to make your company responsible and accountable to pay the damage. Yes, my friend. Again, if it is an accident, easy for the company to excuse themselves. No, it's not our fault. Because despite there is a fire extinguisher, because there was a sulfur, it's too much, fire. So it is not our fault. That can be acceptable excuses. Okay? Arson. Arson means you intentionally burn an item, that is considered arson, and that is criminally punishable under the law. Okay, to burn a house or item with the purpose of damaging it, this is arson. Okay, for you, at least you know, you understand this item. Okay, now this one, NFPA diamond. Where you can see mostly this NFPA diamond, before there's triangle, no? That's fire triangle, means that is the composition of the fire. Now this is NFPA diamond. NFPA means this is the National Fire Protection Association. That's NFPA. So this is a standard. You will not see flammability, health, instability, special hazards. Each color represents something. Okay? Red means flammability. Blue means health. Instability means this is the state of the chemicals. Up to what extent this one can cause fire. This is the instability, the state, the status, the state of this chemical. Okay? And then special hazards. This refers to what is this chemical? Is it corrosive, acidic? What is this alkaline? Or what is this chemical? Okay? This is the special hazards. Now, you will see only colors. In actual, you will see only colors. You will not see, I just put that one flammability here, at least for you to understand what that colors represents. Okay? But actually in actual, mostly, some also you will see like that, but mostly you will see only colors and numbers. You will see these numbers 0 up to 4. This is the rating. Okay? For example, red color, you will see number 4. Okay? The secret there, the higher the number, the higher the danger is. You will see number 4, this is too much. For example, if you see this one on the red color, meaning it's too much flammable. Yes, you don't need to memorize the definition here, because if you were going to memorize this definition, again, this will break our mind. Okay? And this is not easy to memorize. But for us to easily understand it, if you see the number there, number 4, the higher the number, the higher the danger is. If you see on the health, number 4, this is too much dangerous on my health. Okay? If you see this special hazards, normally you will see there, alkaline as a corrosive oxidizer, you will see like that. You will see the signage, OX, you will see ALK. So if you know that, what does it refer to? Then you know, this is corrosive, this is alkaline, this is oxidizer. Now what is the important why we need to know this? What is the importance? So the importance why we need to know this, my friend, because sometimes we are working outside and you will see a particular chemical. Okay? Sometimes on a container, you will see on the label, you will see this diamond. And if you don't understand what does this diamond mean, you will neglect. I forgot this one. So you just proceed with the hard work. But you did not think that this one, I forgot to see this is flammability. It's number 4. It's too much flammable. So how it comes, I have to work here. Even for example, that company did not barricade, you have to highlight. So what about this? Why this one is here? I know this one is too much flammable because it's number 4. Okay? If it is number 1, this, you know, that the flammability is not that high. This is again 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The higher, the higher the risk. Okay, the danger that is. Okay? So now if you remove the color, what is blue? You will still see. Okay, what is yellow? This is just to test. Instability. And what is red? Flammability. And blue? Health. And white? And what are the special hazards? Like corrosive, you will see corrosive, alkaline, oxidizer. These are the symbols that you will see on this white label. Okay? For example, corrosive, you will see COR, and you will see the number 4. What does it mean? It's too much corrosive, my friend. the corrosiveness of this particular chemical is very high. Again, it's number 4. When you see number 4, see, it will cause death. Can be lethal, can be death. And if you see in the yellow, it can explode. See? If it is on the flammability, it will really burn at any time. Number 4. See? The higher the number, the danger that is. Okay? So that is the secret. So no need to define what is this. Okay? So if there is a fire, this is where we are now. We are almost going to finish the training. If there is a fire, what we need to do? Okay, now let us test your idea, what you have learned in this past. Because this one actually every year, aside from that, we are discussing also in the toolbox. So in case there is a fire, what we are supposed to do? What is the first thing that we need to do? Okay? Anyone? No correct, no wrong. Just tell me, it can be correct, it can be wrong. No one will insult you here. This is just to test you. Okay, if there is a fire, my friend, assume. For example, I am working outside. If there is a fire, you don't know what to do?
Where fire? We are working fire or outside fire?
Whether outside or inside, what you need to do? Because it will be the same.
If I am working
outside,
point,
okay.
If I am working point, we are using the extinguisher, each type of fire. Otherwise, alarm coming, we go the single point. Otherwise, we call emergency.
No, let us make it step by step. Okay. Now, for example, you said you will extinguish the fire. Okay. Then after, what you will? For example, you cannot extinguish the fire because it's too much fire. What you will do? Because not all the fire you can extinguish. Yes, you can extinguish if it's a small fire. But if it's a big fire, what you will do?
Contact the emergency number. Otherwise, it is silent. You go to assembly point.
See? Okay, another. You can be correct. See, now this is how we are testing our knowledge about the fire. So you see, fire subject, easy. I will go direct to the fire. I will extinguish. Easy. But if you will be asked what is the steps that we have to undergo, it's a rumble. But we have to go to the step by step. What is the step? First thing, if there is a fire, again small fire, it is advisable for us to extinguish. If it is a small fire, if you can extinguish, you extinguish. If you cannot extinguish, what is the step? If you look around, okay? If there is a manual pull station, pull the manual pull station. What is the purpose of manual pull station? The purpose of that is to ask help, to alarm the building that there is, because actually if there is alarm there, same like us, no? You will see where is the location. Yeah, you will see. By that, when they see in their system, immediately they will going to call their fire truck, their fire warden, their emergency team. Immediately they will be on the scene. They will arrive. Okay, to extinguish the fire, but to immediately run in the assembly point and then disregard that, or immediately look for the phone to call. This is not right, my friend. Again, too much fire. We are thinking that the fire already extreme. It's spreading fast. So you have to also act fast. So what is the fastest way is to alarm. Pull the manpole station or push the manpole station to alarm the building. Then they would know, where is this alarm coming from? They will check their system. The one who's sitting on the system, he will going to activate their emergency team. You see how fast? Let us suppose that you are not in that scene. You are far and you have seen that there is a fire. What you will do? That's the time that you have to call the emergency. Yes, that sir, I am like this, so and so. I am standing in this building. I am in this building, facing here. There is a fire. Yes, you have to dial their emergency number. That's why whenever you are working, there is an orientation, right? Safety orientation in some of the big companies, and then they are giving you that this is our emergency number, my friend. Take note of their emergency number. because you will never know that you will face at any time, at some point, emergency situation. And now that you cannot remember the emergency number, how you will call? Again, emergency does not only mean fire. It could have like a life-threatening. There was an accident on site, and you need to call. Yeah. There is an earthquake. There is a flood. There is a water. Suddenly, oh, where is this water coming from? Too much. Then, if, for example, you don't know where's the number, how you will call? Ask for help. So emergency number is very important. That's the time you will call. Okay, now let's suppose you will go to the assembly point. You will immediately go to the assembly point? There's another step. If, for example, you are in Saudi Cayenne, before you go to the assembly point, what are you going to look for? Going to the assembly point. The flag. You see the flag? There is a direction, okay? If, for example, the flag showing direction like this, where you are going to run? Opposite. Okay? You do not go the same direction where this flag is pointing. Because that's where the air is and that's where the fire might go. Okay? And where is the safest area to go? Aside the assembly point. In case there is a fire.
The open area.
They say it's a control room. Yeah? If you are already in the control room, do you need to go out? Because this one has been asked several times. And at least you know, by this training, you already knowledgeable. Because I know this, because our safety also told us during the training. So if you are in the control room, are you going to go out and go to the assembly point? No, because the control room is the safest area. In that building, that's the most safest area. Why? Because all the fire system has been installed there. In some control room, they have this FM200, you know? This FM200, this is a million investment in a control room because this is where all the server is. Okay? And then imagine the FM200, this will be activated. The fire, far from the fire, this only will be activated and it cannot go close to the building. Just imagine how they protected the control room. That's why control room is the most safest. Now, if you will be asked in some of the orientation, if you are in the control room, are you going to go out? The answer is no. Okay? So let us watch a video, my friend, for us to understand about the evacuation.
What does being prepared really mean? Well, it's not any single thing. It's a combination of common sense, knowledge, and awareness of your surroundings. But to be truly prepared, it's essential that you know the emergency evacuation plan of your building. Whether you work in an office park or a manufacturing facility, each building will have its own unique design and its own unique emergency evacuation plan. These plans usually include evacuation or relocation procedures, recommended escape routes, and procedures for reporting fires and other emergencies. Some may contain detailed floor plans and the names of evacuation coordinators in each work area. The plan should also address the special needs of employees with disabilities. Remember, while it's the responsibility of building management to provide an emergency evacuation plan, it's your responsibility to understand it. And if you really want to get serious, take a few minutes during your lunch break to walk through the building and identify escape routes. The more you know about your building, the better prepared you'll be. You should also be able to recognize the sound of your building's evacuation alarm, so you can react quickly when you hear it. Even if you think there's no real cause for concern, don't ignore the alarm. Never assume it's a false alarm or a test. Always assume it's the real thing. Hey, come on, let's go. Then follow your evacuation plan. Another important way to get prepared for an emergency is to participate in evacuation drills. Treat these drills seriously. Take the time to learn about your building's fire safety features, such as the way the PA system is used to coordinate the evacuation. Familiarize yourself with all of the escape routes available to you from your work area, and plan where you will go if your primary evacuation plan must change. The more familiar you become with your emergency evacuation plan, the faster you'll react and make informed decisions, like closing your office door or shutting down equipment that can make a fire worse. Remember, the objective of the drill is an orderly evacuation, not just a speedy one. It's about learning to prepare for the unexpected and knowing your egress routes. An egress system is a series of protected paths that help employees reach a safe location, either inside the building or out. These paths are usually corridors or aisles that lead to an exit, which is usually an enclosed, well-lit, uncluttered stairwell. The stairwells lead evacuees to what's known technically as an exit discharge. This is the area between the exit and a public way, like a street or a parking lot. If you do encounter smoke, get down. Crawl on your hands and knees. Keep your head 1 to 2 feet above the floor. That's where the air is cleaner and easier to breathe. Now, about using an elevator during an emergency evacuation, there are some important things you need to know. In many buildings, the elevator goes to the ground floor when smoke is detected either in the elevator lobby or in the elevator machine room. It will stay there until trained fire or rescue personnel take control of it using a special key. They might use the elevator to rescue occupants or begin firefighting operations on the upper floors. Even if the elevator is there waiting, don't use it. That's where it begins, with the understanding that an individual is accountable for his or her safety.
Now you understand? What's the important point that you have understood in this video? What's the important point, my friend? In that video, do not use elevator. One of the important, of the all important, but you need to cite one that you have learned. So one of which is the elevator. You do not use the elevator when there is emergency situation. Why? Because it may shut off the electricity and you might be trapped inside that elevator. And just imagine to be trapped there for how many hours and you don't have the oxygen, what will happen to you? You have to wait for the rescuer to rescue you. Open that elevator. So the safest way is to go to the stairway. Okay? Another important.
Do not run.
Huh? Do not run because you might be tripped. Just walk. Okay, in the normal way. Do not bring all your heavy items during the fire. Those valuable items, small items, they easily bring, then you bring. But all this is after that. See, life is more important than the value of the property. Okay, you need to go far from this building because we don't know how fast this fire can spread all over the building. So better for you to save your life first. Okay? So what about how to extinguish the fire? Do you know how to extinguish the fire? In the next video is how to extinguish the fire. Just give an example. How to extinguish the fire? How to use the fire extinguisher? Huh? You know the pass. There's a word pass. What is pass? P is?
Pull the pin.
Very good. A?
Aim.
Aim to the? These are fire warden. What is this? What do you call?
Fire warden.
Right? You underwent training. Okay? Aim on the fire. S? Squeeze the nozzle. This is the handle, okay? Then another S. Sweep. Side by side. Okay, let's watch last video.
Operation of fire extinguisher. There are 3 main reasons for the fire, like fuel, oxygen, and source of ignition. By removing any one from the fuel and oxygen, we can stop fire. Fire is categorized in 4 parts: Class A, Class B, Class C and Class D. Class A, solid fire, that is, fire due to woods, clothes, rubber and paper. Class B, fire due to flammable liquid. Class C, fire due to flammable gas like fire due to LPG. Class D, metal fire. Shut down the power when there is fire due to electricity. Then find out the category of fire A, B, C or D and extinguish accordingly. Method to operate fire cylinder. Read the labels and learn how to operate fire extinguisher. Pull the safety pin of the cylinder. Face the head of the hose of the cylinder towards the base of the flame. Press the hand lever. Keep on moving the hose left and the right on the surface of the fire until fire is extinguished. Call emergency immediately if fire is beyond your control. Special precaution to be kept during firefighting. Don't use water for extinguishing fire on electrical equipment. It may give electric shock. While using carbon dioxide cylinders, cylinder and hose become very cold, which may cause cold burn. Therefore, use it without touching metallic parts with hands. Hold hose also at the right places. Don't obstruct access to fire extinguishers.
Do not obstruct.
If you don't know firefighting, seek help immediately.
Okay. So now actually it's about time. So let us recap what you have learned. What about the